friends. Welcome to a Miss Mindy Minute. This is a time when you as a student and I as a school counselor work on what can sometimes be the hardest things. Heart things. During our time together, we can work on how to make your heart and your actions and your choices to mirror the heart of Jesus. I've got a quiz for you. Are you ready? What do these 3 items have in common? I'm gonna hold up each item and you're gonna be thinking in your head, what do they have in common? And then you're gonna tell me on the count of 3 when I tell you, all right? Are you ready? Here's the first item, here it goes. I've got some packing tape, like packing protector, right? This is like often called bubble wrap. Can you hear the bubble wrap? Okay, there's item number 1. Here's item number 2. I've got watermelon, grape, and apple gum, bubble gum, okay? 2 things here. Here's our third thing. Don't say it, don't say it. Paw Patrol, I love it. Paw Patrol bubble bath. What do these 3 commonalities of these 3 objects? What do you think? Okay, we're gonna count on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That's right. They all have bubbles, right? These are all different types of bubbles. They're bubbles, and yet they're different shapes, right? Different shapes of bubbles. And we're familiar with bubbles, right? But today I'm going to introduce you to a new kind of bubble. It's your personal space bubble. A personal space bubble is the comfortable distance between you and another person that either you're talking to or standing next to or sitting beside. In your personal bubble, you feel safe, you feel comfortable, and you feel happy. I like to think of my personal bubble space as the size of an invisible hula hoop. It's kind of like this, and I want you there in your seat or if you're standing to do it with me, okay? So this is how I find the space of my invisible personal space bubble hula hoop. I kind of comfortably spread my legs apart, right? So I'm not way far apart and I'm not right together. I'm just comfortably spread apart. And then I lift my arms and bend at the elbows and I bring them out to kind of be a circle in front of my chest. All right, so my hands are aligned with my feet that are comfortably spread apart. This is my personal bubble space. What you're doing right there is your personal space bubble. When I think about personal bubble space, I think about a Space Ranger, and I'm sure that you're thinking about Toy Story and the Space Ranger in Toy Story, right? When I think about a Space Ranger, there are ranges for who you want to share your space with. The range you are comfortable being with a stranger is going to be a much farther range than the range that you are comfortable with a family member. For instance, you will feel much more comfortable being close in your personal bubble space with your best friend than you will with the mailman. The space range will be much bigger for people you don't know well and much smaller for people you have a close relationship with. Sometimes people come into our personal bubble space and make us feel uncomfortable. These people are space invaders. Space invaders are people who don't respect our personal bubble space and come into our imaginary range of comfortability. Space rangers, space invaders make us feel uncomfortable, irritated, and annoyed. These people may be an older kid at school or an older kid at home. It could be a neighbor. It could be an adult or relative that you don't know very well. These space invaders are not allowed to be in your personal bubble space. The Bible tells us how to handle people who are space invaders. And check this out. This is in Matthew 5:37, and I love it because it tells us exactly how to handle personal bubble space invaders. Here's what it says. Let your yes be yes. Yes, you can come into my personal space bubble, or your no be no. No, you are not allowed to be in my personal space bubble. That means if you're uncomfortable with someone invading your space, you're allowed to say, no, this is my personal bubble. On the flip side, if you want to be closer to someone, say a grandparent or your mom, you're allowed to ask for snuggles and you let them come into your personal space bubble. No one is allowed to come into your personal bubble space without permission. If they do, you need to tell a trusted adult at school and a trusted adult at home. Even though we know the Bible says that we can say no and people must respect that no, sometimes we can be scared to tell someone no, right? We're a little bit scared of how they'll react. So here are some ways to do it. You can say no, no thank you, nah, I'm good right now. I don't feel like it right now, but maybe at a later time. I don't want that. Or ask me again later. These are all ways that you can say it and advocate for yourself or stand up for yourself and not be worried about how they will react. Remember, unless you give permission or consent, everyone must respect your personal space bubble. If they don't, they are a space invader and they need to be reported. In the same way that we don't want to pop other people's personal space bubble, we don't want to be the ones being a space invader. I want you to think about a time when you were blowing bubbles. Can you think about that time? What did it feel like if someone came up and popped your bubbles? What would that feel like if someone came up and popped your bubbles while you were playing? Would you get angry? Would you get upset? Would you feel like that person wasn't being respectful of you? Yeah, you're right. And how would your body show your feelings? Your face might get red. You might put your hands on your hips. Your voice might get loud. Those are the same actions that you want to be aware of if other people feel like you are invading their space. This is called reading their body language. So you're gonna keep your eye out to see red cheeks or hands on the hips or their voice getting louder, because those are clues that you're not respecting other people's space. Remember, there's your imaginary hula hoop. You remember that, right? In the same way that others should not come into your imaginary hula hoop, you shouldn't go into their imaginary hula hoop. So, here's what we've learned today. And remember, this is all about bubbles. And we want to think about our personal space bubbles as being these things that are floating around in the air around each person. Just like my bubbles here in the air, we want to be thinking, what can I do to respect other people's personal space bubble? I can keep an arm distance away. I can be reading their body language. Also be thinking, what does it feel like when my personal bubble space is invaded? I feel uncomfortable. I feel unhappy. I feel irritated or annoyed. But when my personal bubble space is respected, I feel comfortable and happy and safe. And then be thinking, what can I say nicely to stand up for my personal space bubble? excuse me, can you please back up? Or may I please have some space? Those are all ways to advocate for yourself. And above all, respecting other people's space is important. It's nice. It's respectful, but sometimes it can be hard and difficult. And that's why we want to practice over and over. That's all for today's Miss Mindy Minute. Until next time, bye-bye.